What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I got a really fun video for you guys. As you can see right here, I have the brand new DJI Avata 2, and in today's video we're going to be comparing this drone to a more traditional FPV drone such as the GepRC Cinelog 35, which is right here. My channel is not about going through all the boring specs, all those boring numbers. This channel is all about real world experience in the field, and I'm gonna give you guys a ton of real world footage as well as my personal honest opinions about these two different drones. So if you guys are into this kind of content, please be sure to stick around. It's gonna be a really fun and informative video for you guys if you guys are deciding between these two different drones. So without further ado, let's dive right into it.
I just wanted to let you know.
So for this first section, we're gonna talk all about flight characteristics. You guys know with FPV drones, it's all about how they fly, how they behave, how easy they are to control, all that good stuff. So for this first section, we're just gonna talk about flight characteristics. I think one benefit of the Avata 2 is the normal mode. That's also why I don't really typically fly in the manual acro mode on this, because the normal mode for this thing is so good already. Like, that's the reason why I bought this thing, because when I'm doing real estate fly-throughs, one thing that's really hard to control is the throttle. When you're going inside, you really have to fly really slow. And when you're flying a custom FPV like this, it actually does take a lot of brain power and resource to always be looking out for your throttle, because if you're a beginner, it's really easy to tell because the footage is gonna always be bouncing. So that's why 90% of the time I'm flying the Avata 2, I'm just gonna be using normal mode because it works so well. I think the Avata 2 really excels at exploration. For example, when I go to some of my favorite spots around here, the Avata 2 is absolutely insane. I mean, the connection is really good, the battery life is crazy, and I'm able to literally just explore my environment in ways that I literally can't on this thing. Albeit this thing is running the O3 air unit, and this is running the O4 transmission, this thing is just, the connection is absolutely insane. And just having that peace of mind that it'll return to home in case you lose connection. But honestly, this thing is just so good for exploring urban areas or even forests. I noticed that this thing has substantially better connection than the O3 system. When I'm flying this thing at my regular spots, I'm able to really push it and go really a lot farther and go through a ton of like penetration. I'm able to go through buildings and stuff with ease with this. If I was using this thing, I could probably do it, but I would definitely be scared and I would be losing a lot of megabits and I would be worried that I'd be losing connection. But the Avata 2 is such a great drone. Like, I usually use this drone when I get to the spot and just kind of see my area and explore the area. And I'm able to hit gaps and check out new areas that I just wouldn't be able to on this drone. So that's why I really like the Avata 2. I completely think that flying custom FPV like these ones is just way more fun and just way more dynamic. Sure, I have unlocked the full manual mode on the Avata 2, but I'm gonna be honest, it just doesn't feel what I'm used to. It is nothing compared to traditional FPV drones. Like, if I'm just flying for fun and I just wanna let loose and do freestyle, all day I'm gonna choose custom FPV because it just feels way more stable, it just feels way more locked in, and I just feel way more confident hitting gaps and just cruising around and just having fun. I think the custom FPV flies way better, which is really interesting because the Avata 2 is actually more expensive, and you would think it would fly better because it's made by DJI, it's made for like intricate hitting gaps and stuff. And although it is really good for hitting gaps, it does not come anywhere close to the dynamic feeling and just the overall freedom and free-flowing feeling of flying custom FPV. And that's why I love custom FPV. I think the normal mode is great, but sometimes it just does feel a little bit stale. You know, like, I love the Avata 2 because you're able to fly so far, you have really good battery life, like 15 minutes. I just feel like it feels a little bit robotic sometimes, and I'm not able to really kind of unlock that free-flowing, kind of true freestyle spirit that I'm able to on the custom FPVs. So I think that's a good thing to keep in mind, but overall, I really like the Avata 2. All right guys, so the next topic I want to talk about is the image quality in cameras. And I think that's where another huge difference comes between these two different drones, the Avata 2 and custom FPV. I think the Avata 2 is actually a really great drone for filmmakers. And the reason why I say this is because you don't actually need to mount a GoPro. Although I have seen a lot of people mount on the GoPro, and that might make sense if the client really wants GoPro and you really just want that extra amazing image quality. I personally haven't tried that yet, but I honestly think that the camera on here, which is basically the 04 Air unit, is plenty for general videography needs. And I think this thing is really awesome because number one, everything is all set up and ready to go. You guys know with custom FPV, once you try to mount on a GoPro, it actually takes a long time to set up. So you have to mount it on, put the screw, put an SD card, connect it to your phone, connect it to the battery. It's a ton of steps, but the Avata 2, everything is all ready to go. And one of my favorite features about the Avata 2 is it actually has built-in storage. It has like 48 gigabytes of built-in storage. You don't even need to put in an SD card, so that's really awesome. And I think this drone is really good if you're in a pinch. For example, if you're like at a wedding and you're mostly doing like gimbal stuff, but the client wants like a few FPV shots, Avata 2 all day. I mean, it's just so fast to set up, really easy. You could dial in all your settings, camera settings right there on the goggles, and you're all ready to go to get shots. And I really like how you're able to use Gyroflow in post. They do have Rocksteady you could use, but I would highly recommend to use Gyroflow. It's just like real estate for GoPro. It makes everything way more stable and just looks really buttery. So highly recommend that. But if I were to do just an FPV shoot, like someone was hiring me to do like just really dynamic shots and just FPV, I would probably bring this thing. I mean, this thing for me just flies way better. I feel a lot more confident hitting gaps. And if I just want that extra elevated image quality, I don't mind putting on the GoPro Hero 11 naked. I mean, I really like the GoPro workflow. I think the color and the image looks absolutely amazing. So if I were to do just solely FPV shots, I would probably use this thing just because I'm so used to it. And as I was mentioning earlier in the first section of this video, it just flies way better, honestly, just way more dynamic. But there are caveats to this because, for example, if the client wanted me to fly really far or something, or let's say there was just a ton of penetration, like I'm in a really heavily wooded forest, or they want shots inside this huge building or something, I'd probably use this thing actually, because this thing, the connection is way better and battery life is absolutely insane. Another thing I want to mention about the differences between the cameras of the Avata 2 versus the more traditional custom FPV drones is the fact that on the Avata 2, you're able to tilt the gimbal up and down while you're flying. And I think that's a huge benefit for the Avata 2 because you guys know with traditional FPV, like once you set up your cameras, albeit your Air unit or the GoPro, that camera angle is locked in for that whole flight. You press record and you just send it. You can't change anything. You can't change the camera settings, you can't change the angle, none of that stuff. But the Avata 2, I think, is actually like a really good tool for cinematographers and videographers because you're able to change your camera angle during flight. And I think that's really awesome because you guys know me, I'm really used to the DJI ecosystem. I'm really comfortable flying Mavic drones, Inspire, Air 3, so I'm really used to always tilting that gimbal up and down. So by having that feature on the FPV drone, the Avata 2 is actually really cool because you're able to do different shots with FPV. For example, if you're going through like a cool tree tunnel, you could start down and then slowly tilt up. Or let's say you're kind of diving from above and you're going inside like a hallway, you're able to kind of come down and then slowly tilt up as you enter the hallway. So I think that's a really cool feature of the Avata 2 that traditional FPV drones just simply can't offer. And adding on to that point, I think another cool part about the Avata 2 is the fact that you're able to change your camera settings and be more intentional about your recordings. With this thing, it's really cool because you can be more intentional with your shots. For example, maybe certain shots, I could change my frame rate right in the goggles. I could change my exposure right in the goggles. I could switch from D-Log-M to regular in the goggles. I can stop my recording, start it if I don't want to have all this crazy footage, you know? So I think for that reason, the Avata 2 is actually a really powerful drone for videography and film projects. Alright guys, so another topic I want to talk about, which I touched on earlier in this video, is remote controls. And I know a lot of you guys might really not be interested in this, but I personally think remote controls are really important because let's be honest, The remote control is what you interact with. The goggles and the remote are really how you interact with the drone. For all I care, I don't care what a drone looks like. I mean, that thing is like hundreds of feet away from you. You don't even see it, but the remote control is what you always interact with on a daily basis when you're practicing and when you're on shoots. And I think this is honestly one of the biggest differences between custom FPV and the Avata 2. And that's the fact that you really don't have flexibility of your remote controller on the Avata 2. You're really forced to use the DJI equipment. And I think that's a huge downside. Although it is really easy to use, you don't have to set up crossfire, you don't need Betaflight, all that BS like we talked about earlier. But honestly, like you guys know with drones, like you really start to build like a bond with your remote and really build muscle memory with the main remote controller. Right here is the Radiomaster Boxer, and I really like this remote. I mean, it's really comfortable and it just gets the job done. I mean, I usually run crossfire on it, has absolutely amazing connection, but most importantly, I just love how the sticks and these gimbals feel. I mean, it just feels very intuitive, very natural. And I think that's also part of the reason why I think custom FPV just feels so much more dynamic to me, because I just have way more hours practicing with this thing and I'm just so much more comfortable with this thing. Like when I fly my custom FPV rigs with this remote, like everything just feels so seamless. It feels so smooth. I feel like I'm able to hit any gap I want. My throttle control is absolutely excellent. And it just feels so good. It just feels so right. But then whenever I switch to this thing, especially when I'm flying that manual mode, it just doesn't feel good. You know, as I mentioned earlier, I did try to loosen this thing. I didn't have too much luck with it. Maybe I'll try again, but even when I'm flying in the normal mode, it just doesn't feel that dynamic. I don't know, it just feels like I'm limited. And with drones, that's why I love FPV. The whole point and the whole reason why I love FPV is because it's so limitless. Like it's so unlimited. The places I'm able to go, the gaps I'm able to hit, the lines I'm able to do, the flips I can do. It's just so much freedom. And I feel like when you use the DJI remotes, you really are restricting your freedom. And that's kind of part of the price you pay for flying the Avata 2, because it has so many smart features. For example, like when I'm in normal mode, I can literally just let go of the remote and it'll just hover. In order to do that on a custom FPV, it takes a lot to set up. I'd have to probably use a different software like iNav, set up like position hold. I'd have to install a GPS on the drone. It's a whole headache to set that up. On the Avata 2, I could literally, if I want to take off my goggles or something, I can literally just let go of it and I'm good. And I think it's kind of cool because when I want to land, I literally just bring it close to me, take off my goggles, and I usually land at line of sight. So that's really cool about the Avata 2. But like when I just want to fly around, like this remote doesn't feel that enjoyable for me to use. All right, guys, so I think that's all I have to say so far about the kind of specific differences between these two different drones. But overall, I think it's really good to have both. That's the whole reason why I got the Avata 2, because although I was getting really confident with my custom FPV, I was starting to really get into a rhythm of understanding Betaflight, PID tuning, how to make the ultimate kind of micro drone for real estate. I got the Avata 2 because I just wanted a backup drone and just have something to use in my toolkit that makes my life easier, because you guys know, being a professional filmmaker, like you really just want the best tool for the job. Like I'll be honest, I haven't done too many professional FPV fly-throughs yet for my new job, but I got the Avata 2 because I just wanted the peace of mind knowing that I have the correct tools to get the job done. Because although I was building that little microquad, the Cinelog 25 is all ready to go, I was having a lot of troubles with it. For example, the battery life is pretty bad, honestly, for a drone. I mean, 2 or 3 minutes, not great for a drone. Also, just the hassle setting up the GoPro and stuff. Like I know it could deliver and get me the good shots, but I just wanted to have the peace of mind that once I start doing more of these fly-throughs, that I could have that drone as a backup, or maybe I could use that as my main one if I feel comfortable. But I just wanted to have the peace of mind I could just show up, launch the Avata, just knock out the shots, and then go on to the next one. Because you guys know, being a professional, like it's a lot of work doing our job, you know? Like there's just so much driving, there's just so many variables involved with our job. So I just really wanted to make my life easier. And I feel like it's like comparing apples to oranges. Like the Avata 2 compared to custom FPV, they're very different drones. Like sure, they're both FPV drones, but they're very different. I mean, the Avata 2 is made by DJI, the leading company for drones in the world right now. I mean, they're really good for drones. I mean, there's so much technology packed into that little drone. I mean, it's a really good drone for beginners, just a really good overall drone. But as someone that really appreciates custom, having the freedom to repair my own gear, and just having the best flight characteristics overall, I really prefer to fly custom FPV. So for example, these past few weeks, like when I was going to all these different spots with my friends, with my buddy, like if I'm just trying to have fun, like 9 times out of 10, I'm probably gonna fly my custom builds. Doesn't matter whether it's like a 7-inch custom one, whether it's my Gepard Cinelog 35, whether it's like my little 5-inch, like 9 times out of 10, 90% of the time, I'm probably gonna go for that one to unwind, to have fun, to be creative, just get awesome shots. But for those few times where I'm on set, when I have a job to get FPV shots, when I'm doing a real estate fly through, when I just want my life to be easier and more simple, and I don't really care about having so much fun, but really just about getting the job done and getting the shots in, I'm definitely gonna choose the Avata 2 for that because it's just a very solid drone. It's very easy to use. You don't need LiPo batteries. You don't need a GoPro. You don't need all that extra equipment. You don't need all these extra tools. It's all ready to go, all ready to deliver for you. So very different drones, but for very different use cases. But honestly, I'm really happy I went with this whole journey because let's be honest, like before I got my new job, I could have easily just bought the Avata 2 and just went on with my life and just was like, okay, yeah, I'll use the Avata 2 for fly-throughs and then I won't worry about the custom FPV side because the Avata 2 is good. And I'm glad I didn't go that route because by going through this journey and really forcing myself to learn the intricacies of beta flight, learning how to PID tune my drone, learning about Expo on the controller, it really forced me to become a better pilot. Because I feel like with anything in this world, anything in life, like you really learn under pressure. And that's really what happened was I was kind of in the process of getting this new job. They said they need me for fly-throughs, and I really felt this pressure to really try to build the best drone I possibly could. I don't regret one bit all those countless hours I spent in the field, tuning my drone, fixing my drone. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it was really frustrating. Like, I spent so much time looking at like the most random YouTube videos, Joshua Bardwell, UAV tech, going on forums, just looking for as much information as I possibly could to fix my drone because I'm gonna be honest, that thing was giving me a lot of problems. Like when I first installed the O4 air unit, I was getting a ton of jello, so much vibrations. Then I fixed the frame. I changed my ESC protocol. I went into beta flight. Like I changed so many things, but the knowledge I got from that was absolutely priceless. Like I do not regret one bit all those hours I spent doing that. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm the type of person where I really enjoy that. Like I really feel fulfilled learning and teaching myself that kind of stuff because that's why I started all this FPV stuff in the first place. It's all been a challenge for me. Like before, even a few years ago, I had no idea how to solder. I couldn't replace a motor for the life of me. I had no idea how to install an air unit. But over time, after all my different FPV drones, I've slowly started to accumulate all these different skills, building, tuning, just really understanding beta flight. And I don't regret any of that one bit. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Really helps out the channel. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.